Brodes Media.
It's ironic that with all the lack of losing that this team provides for us, two of them happen to be because your superstars drop easy fundamental catches. Saquon Barkley against the Atlanta Falcons and Skinny Batman this afternoon against Washington. I love Devontae just as much as everybody loves Devontae. Devontae costed us a game today. He's not the only one to criticize because the defense allowed way too many points in the fourth quarter. There were times where they needed to clean up a lot. They also did cause 5 turnovers, to be fair, so I don't want to make it seem like they were absolute trash. But overall, the team didn't do enough. Now, it's very difficult to get thrown into a situation where you practice all week long and you put together a game plan thinking Jalen is going to be taking snaps from Cam Jurgens, and then within a blink of an eye, here's Kenny Pickett, who we haven't seen all year long. To the Eagles' credit, though, they were in a position to get the dub. If Smitty catches the ball, it's done. Iced. Over. And then I can have fun ripping Joshua Harris, that idiot. I could rip Brian Robinson for fumbling after running his damn mouth all week long and then getting a shot of him crying on the sidelines with the towel over his face, knowing he was a no-show for his team after talking so much crap. That's what I wanted to do for 30 minutes on this Sunday evening. But instead, I don't know what I'm really going to do. I mean, big picture, I'm not worried about who this team can be when they get their players back. And, truth be told, I don't think this really changed much in regards to the number 1 seed. It was always a long goal or a lofty goal. It was out of reach, but you were keeping it close, but it wasn't really a good possibility, but it was there, but not really, you know? So we're probably going to end up in a very similar seeding, whether we won this game or lost this game. I just hate losing, okay? I just hate losing. And the way it happened, where, of course, it's a 6-point game, and you need your defense, who has been so strong for you all year long, to keep them out of the end zone, and it gets as hairy as it does. It always does. Jacksonville, right down to the wire. Nakobe Dean with an interception as Trevor Lawrence lets the football go from his fingertips. Huge play by the linebacker. It seems as great as Vic Fangio has been, we start to sweat it out aggressively with a couple seconds to go. It always gets to that point. Oh, man. It was so clear, though, that Saquon Barkley was not able to have the same pop and the same ability the second Jalen Hurts left the game. Now, I also feel the refs should have realized that there was a late hit involved when Jalen Hurts went down. There was a late hit involved. I saw it in real time, and I got up and I started screaming at the damn television, "What are you watching?" The only thing the refs got right was Lattimore draped all over A.J. Brown and grabbing onto his laundry every second he could. They got that right most of the time, let me say. There was the one sequence, I believe it was second down. AJ got hit pretty good as he was cutting across the middle in the end zone. And Lattimore, see, the thing is, it's the Jalen Carter thing we talk about a lot, where Jalen Carter gets held every single play, that the refs aren't going to call it every play because then it would just be obnoxious. That's how aggressive Lattimore was with the hand play and grabbing his jersey and tugging on his hips. And I swear to God, he was suffocating him nonstop. And they can't call it all the time, so he got away with it in that sequence. Other than that, though, the Lattimore, A.J. Brown duo, if you will, That's the only thing they got right. They're kicking C.J. Gardner-Johnson out of the game. He gets a couple of personal fouls, but one of them is when he gets punched in the face. So I would love to get an answer on how that happened. Jordan Davis goes down and he's punching the ground and he hobbles off. Josh Sweat had an ankle problem. Nakobe Dean went out for a tad. Darius Slay with the standard Darius Slay thing when he's in and out. And then when he tries to go back in, there's too many people on the field. He's running off. There's a broken issue in the secondary. And then here's the Commanders taking advantage of it. But C.J. Gardner-Johnson getting kicked out played a massive role in this, as McCollum was the one in coverage for one of Commanders' touchdowns. He stinks! And so does Zacchaeus! Zacchaeus blows! He sucks! I'm watching Ringo struggling to make a tackle out there. Oh, it was vomit. It was vomit at times. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Here's how I feel about Kenny Pickett's day. I actually think social media's reaction was a bit harsh. He's a backup quarterback. I'll give you a description of how a backup quarterback and his day normally goes. There's some he would like to have back. He probably takes a sack when he shouldn't. And then there are some throws that are good, strong, and in the area for playmakers to make plays. Whether it's a bit underthrown or not, he's a backup quarterback. Put it in the area for A.J. Brown. And we saw that happen a few times downfield. And if not, there was a flag on the play for pass interference. Or in the case of Saquon, I even thought Saquon late should have made that catch, even though he had to turn his body. He had the ball secured, and here comes Bobby Wagner, who unlocks it from his hands. But once again, Kenny Pickett put the ball in range. That's the goal. That's the objective. And he couldn't do it any better on 3rd and 5. And keep in mind, I actually really appreciated the way that Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore called some of their sequences in the fourth quarter on that one of the last drives, I should say. They're like going for it on 4th, putting the pressure on, keeping your offense out there. Part of the reason why this team is so awesome is their ability to drain clock, their ability to keep your offense on the field. And you saw that in one quarter this game. You saw that in the fourth quarter against the Steelers. And in that final drives in that range there late, you were putting your foot on the gas, even with Kenny Pickett, and saying, let's dial it up, let's be aggressive, let's do this. And I like the way that they handled it, right? 6 minutes to go, 7 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go. Let's lean on what makes us great with or without Jalen Hurts. And they tried their very best to do it. And realistically, they should have won the game with that philosophy if it wasn't for Devontae Smith and the drop. We needed a clutch kick from Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott got it from 50 plus, not the one at half, but the one to give us a 1-point lead. He hasn't done that all year long. So there's a positive out of this. Is Jake Elliott seemed to do something he hasn't done all year long, which we are desperately going to need in the playoffs. You see the difference. You're going to need 50-yarders to go up 1, to go up 2, to go up 3 in a playoff game in the fourth quarter. What we need, though, is our defense to be a bit more clutch. When Darius Slay had the fantastic play where Reed Blankenship ends up locking in the interception there, I started screaming. I thought that was it. I thought we had the W right then and there wrapped up. You don't milk enough time off the clock. I was screaming as if it was an automatic dub at that point, so shame on me. But, I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds that someone as talented as Devontae Smith just loses focus? And the most irritating part of it all is the second a backup quarterback is involved in the game, and when Jalen gets ruled out and there's no coming back, right? It's not happening today. It's not going to occur. It's number 7, Kenny Pickett, the rest of the action. There needs to be a reaction of, I'm even dialed in more than I normally am. Now, you should always be dialed in the best of your capabilities, but it's the backup goaltender thought. When you have your backup goalie in the NHL, you play a little harder. You do the dirty work a little differently because you know that, in a way, with all due respect, there is a drop-off behind you. So, if you start playing detailed more, if you start focusing in more, if you start paying attention more and doing all the little things right to a T, you kind of have to, because there is a deficiency that you are not accustomed to having. And Devontae lost his focus right then and there. If you want to find a weird, strange, awkward spin on it, if they were to run the table, which I thought they would and could, if they were to run the table, what were they at, 10th? Or it would have been a 13-win streak. And then they would have had to win all their playoff games. I don't know if I'm doing all the math right, but you're essentially going into the Miami Dolphins undefeated season territory. And there's a reason why many teams haven't been able to ever do something like that. Now, I hate to spin it that way because I don't like it. But what are the odds that you win 16, 17 straight games in the NFL, no matter who your opponent is? So in a weird way that I hate even admitting or saying, and I would have never said this if they won the game by any means, is you're getting a loss out of the way because it's nearly impossible to do what the Dolphins did. And if they were to win out in the regular season, and I guess if you didn't have to worry about the final game against the Giants and you were to beat the Commanders and beat the Cowboys and sat all of your players against New York because the seeds would have been locked in, and let's say you would have lost that game, then it breaks the streak for you and you could have pushed forward. But that's all fugazi stuff. That's just stuff to try and make us feel better in the here and now, even though there is kind of statistical data to back that up. I just think that's a loser way to look at it, even though I just spent a couple minutes looking at it that way. It's the way it went down today that's eating me alive, though, because I really thought that they were going to walk away eking it out. And I thought they deserved to walk away eking it out.